Why petrol and diesel prices will stay above 100 rupees in India forever. That's a topic for discussion today in the Market Secrets educational series. Currently, petrol and diesel prices are hovering around 190 rupees in India respectively, and I strongly believe the prices will remain around or above these levels forever. In simple terms, three-digit fuel price is here to stay. Let's understand why. People forget to understand one critical aspect when it comes to freebies or subsidies from the government. Nothing is really free and everything has cost associated with it. Government is just like our household. We do some work, earn some money and spend that money on something. So there is income and expenditure. If the income is higher than expenditure, then we can save the remaining. In case the income is lesser than the expenses, then we need to borrow. So is government budget. Government collect taxes, that is both direct tax and indirect tax, which is its income, and it spends its money on various schemes or projects. There is one more critical thing here, that is imports and exports. If a country needs to be developed, it needs to export more than it imports, which will help the finances of the country. India has always been a net importer for the last few decades, which has hurt its growth for the last few decades. We need to become a net exporter if we want to grow faster. So when it comes to imports, there are two things which India imports the most. They are oil and gold. That's why these two items are taxed heavily in India. Importing more and more gold and oil will weaken the country's economy, and that's why government had introduced sovereign gold bonds, that is SGBs in India. This was introduced to reduce the gold import. But such option is not possible for oil because people buy oil for usage and not storage. That's why oil is very severely taxed in India. Let's say price of petrol is 100 rupees today. In that case, approximately 60 to 65 rupees of it is purely taxes and the original cost of the commodity is just 30 to 40 rupees. So in this case, we are almost paying 150 percentage as taxes on the fuel. Can you believe it? Out of the 60-65 rupees, approx 40 to 50 percentage goes to the state government and the remaining goes to the central government. And this number varies between states. But 150 percentage tax on fuel, that's too heavy, isn't it? That's where bringing in GST will be lot more beneficial. If they bring fuel under GST, max GST rate at the moment is 28%. So we can get petrol for approximately 50 to 60 rupees. But it will never happen. Why? Because taxes from the fuel represents major form of income for the government. 10% of income for central government comes from the taxes on fuel, whereas 30 to 40% of state government's income comes from taxes on fuel. So states will never allow the fuel to be brought under GST. Also, this 150% tax rate on fuel is currently being levied indirectly, that is in the form of excise duty and also VAT. So this tax is actually invisible for the user. But if they bring it under GST, it will be explicitly visible. So if the government quotes there will be 150% GST on fuel, it will be a political suicide. So if the fuel is brought under GST, definitely the fuel prices will come down. But like I mentioned earlier, the state governments will never allow that to happen because taxes from fuel is the major source of income for the state governments. Also, there is the problem of oil bonds, which was issued by Manmohan Singh government in UPA 2 rule, for which the current government needs to pay approximately 1.3 lakh crore rupees over the next 4.5 years. Here is the list of bonds that are reaching maturity in the next 4.5 years. So for the oil bonds issued by UPA 2, the current government need to settle 1.3 lakh crore rupees. Considering 3 lakh crore rupees as the yearly revenue from taxes on excise duty, this one aspect of oil bond payment from the previous regime can raise the fuel prices by 5 rupees per litre for the next 5 years. This is the expense UPA 2 government cleverly passed on to the future government, but no forward looking government would do any such thing. You may say oil prices never touched three digits during Manmohan Singh rule, even though oil was trading near 100 or $150. But the truth is, Manmohan Singh government took the route of subsidy by forcing the government companies to take the losses for every liter of fuel sold in the country, which is again an indirect cost to the government, that is to you. Like I said earlier, there is no free lunch here. There is no free money anywhere. So the government cannot provide anything for free. If the government is doing it, it indicates they are raising prices somewhere else or they are indirectly passing it on to the next generation, like the oil bonds that UPA2 issued. Neither of these options are healthy for the country in the long run. The current government had linked the oil prices in the local market with the international oil market prices, which is a very healthy practice. All the commodities are traded in such way and oil is a commodity as well, and this brings in the transparency and reduces the burden on the government. So here are the four reasons which will cause petrol and diesel prices to stay above 100 rupees from now on. Number one, government won't provide any subsidy on fuel, which will encourage fuel usage, which will in turn increase the imports, which is unhealthy for the economy. Number two, the amount to be paid for oil bonds, which is approximately 5 rupees per liter for next 5 years, which needs to be collected to pay for the mistakes of the past government. And number three, this government doesn't want to pass any such burden on to the future generations, so they won't take the bond route to reduce oil prices. And number four, government want us to move to hybrid option, which is biofuel, electric or hydrogen fuel in the next 5, 10, 20 years, which will gradually reduce country's import of oil and will strengthen the economy in the long run. Keeping oil prices high will give incentive for the people to switch to other options. So I strongly believe fuel prices will stay in three digits henceforth. What do you say? And what do you think about fuel prices being in three digits? Whom do you think is responsible for it? Let us know in the comment section. This brings us to the end of today's episode. Hit the like button if you have liked this video and share it with your friends if you find it useful. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video or conduct a live session. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.